If you're looking for a piano, you've probably found many $0 pianos. From Craigslist to Nextdoor to Facebook Marketplace. You've even probably swiped right on a $0 piano. If that sounds familiar,
What's the real cost of a free piano?
today we discuss.
Hi, this is Ted with Alamo Music Center in downtown San Antonio, Texas.
And I'm Patrick Marr. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channels, check out our other videos, sign up for notifications, like our videos, leave us comments. We appreciate all the support, and we love to bring you guys new content. Ted, this is a fun one because a lot of the times people are offering us the free pianos.
Free pianos.
So if you guys have been looking for a piano online and looking, hey, we want to get little Susie into piano lessons, or I'm interested in playing again. I played when I was a kid. I might as well just get something cheap and free. It seems like there's free ones. Is this like free, like a mattress outside someone's house? Is this free? Or is this free like a car that you've never driven and might work free? Or is it too good to be true?
It's a real Pandora's box for each one. You don't know what you're going to get.
And not to sound doomy and gloomy about that people aren't willing to give free instruments to others. I think that's a very noble cause to say, hey, just get it out of here. But a lot of the times there's a reason it's there, and there's a reason they're getting rid of it for free.
Hey, in the 20 plus years I've been here, there's been a number of free pianos available. But I'll tell you what I've never really had is someone say, I have a free piano available, and I'll deliver it to your house and I'll tune it.
I've heard it for donation cases. So there are some very good causes out there that will get a free piano in people's homes. And I appreciate that because it is to people who might not be able to afford it, or to someone who's been taking lessons for a long time, or a piano teacher. Right. And so there's the exception to the rule, of course. But I would say the majority, and we're friends with a lot of piano dealers around the entire country. The majority of phone calls nowadays to piano stores is, I have this old piano that we're moving, and we kind of just want to get rid of it. You guys can have it. It's free. You guys can have it. And they send pictures, or we tell them to play a couple notes on it up there, or open it up and send it to us. And the majority, 90%, are not worth anything.
A lot of them aren't, and the ones that are, we'll come pick them up.
Yeah, and we'll tell the person, you're better off consigning this with us. We'll pick it up, we'll get it here in the store, we'll sell it, and then you'll get a portion of the sale, we'll get a portion of the sale, and sometimes, yeah, they have something that's worth money there, but a lot of the times, these $0 pianos, and you can just look at the picture, it's in their garage, it's in a storage unit, it's in an abandoned house, and these pianos have very sad stories.
Yeah, they have stories of slow, long-term neglect that ends up in a sad, folded aluminum cinder block room like a storage unit.
Yeah, and a lot of times, sometimes the neglect isn't just it sat in a room for 40 years. That's, I think, sometimes happens, but a lot of times there's going to be something functionally wrong with it.
A lot of times there will be, but immediately the first thing that comes up, the first cost that could be hidden or could be a real cost of a free piano is transportation, getting it moved, getting it where it needs to be, from where it is to where it's going. And that right there, depending upon the piano, it could be an upright, it could be a grand. If it's a big grand or a small grand, it doesn't matter. It's going to cost money to get it moved, unless you have a labor force of free labor that's going to go out there and pick it up. So that's a hidden cost.
And honestly, piano moving, depending on mileage and things like that, the very cheapest you'll ever find is probably in like right around the $200 price. And then for grand pianos, it can go all the way up to $500, $700, kind of depending on what you're moving.
No stairs.
No, if there's a lot of add-on costs too. So that is something to be aware of. And it just mileage, how far away it is from where you're moving it, can be an expensive thing.
Sure.
And so a lot of the times, this is one of those things that if the owner doesn't see established value in it, you shouldn't see established value in it either. So, I mean, there's some great deals out there on Facebook Marketplace, on Craigslist, that you can kind of to go through. And I know piano dealers do this too. They'll go through and they'll look for good pianos that they can bring in, do a little bit of work, do tech work on it, bring it in, add a couple more a couple more $100 of cost into it, fix it up, and then sell it with a warranty. That's something that a lot of piano dealers do, and there's opportunity to find those online on these sites like we had talked about. But those $0 ones are the ones that we're focusing on here, because what are the true costs of a $0 piano, and does it actually have established value, not in only your eyes, but in the eyes of
who's going to end up playing it? Now, again, the same thing. It's not all doom and gloom. There's been a number of very successful inner city and urban piano programs that have taken advantage of exactly that. In other words, free pianos. But the people that look for those and bring them in, they go, they get them, they tune them. They don't mark them up for sale. They get them donated to someone that can't afford to take lessons, and they offer the lessons and stuff like that as well too, so that they can bring piano as a formal piano lessons, like it used to be years and years ago, back into certain parts of neighborhoods or districts that don't have access to those kind of lessons. So that, number one, I think is a great thing about free pianos. Number two is that there's always generally some kind of life left in a piano. Now, by the time we get called here at the store, that sometimes we get called because someone doesn't want to expend any funds to get a piano moved. And a lot of times it's a single older person by themselves that don't have access to a truck, a crew, and they have this piano left, like you said, in the garage or the storeroom.
And it was passed down to them.
So yeah, it could be worth a couple $100 to have a piano picked up and moved if you know there's an intended user on it.
And so right off the bat, a free piano is going to cost you about $200 to $300 to get it to you. That's delivery costs. Okay, so it's set up in my house. This free piano is now $200. What's the next cost I'm going to incur on it?
The next cost you're looking at is, we did a separate video on, can I tune my old piano? And part of that is, that's the next thing you do, is you have a tuner come out. And that tuner will sit down and decide for himself right away, is this piano worth tuning? Is this a job that I'm going to do that's going to yield positive results?
Okay. And how much does a tuner normally cost?
I'm going to say on average about $150. You can go $25 to $50 in both directions.
Yeah, depending on where you're located and the quality of the technician, the tuner. Some of them charge a little bit more. So we're in the hole again for another $150. Let's say $150, and that's just a base tuning. And so best case scenario, he tunes it once. It's perfect. It takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours to hear this guy hitting the notes over and over again, tuning. So what is 2 hours of your sanity worth?
Well, you have just the real cost. You have the time dedicated toward getting it moved, and then the time dedicated toward having someone tune it, and then of course you have the cash outlay for paying for those things. And assuming everything is fine, then you just have to pay for the lessons and have someone play.
Yeah, so I mean it's not too much. You're probably looking about, I would say on average, $500, everything included. If they needed new hammers, if it needed a regulation, if it needs
you could get a super techer like some of the guys we have here that clean up and tune and clean up and repair and fix any broken keys or key tops, and they do a lot of aesthetic repair too.
Yeah, so it's not I would say it's not a huge cost. If you go into a piano store, a new piano is going to cost $4,000, $5,000. You get a 10-year warranty on it. It plays exceptionally. You get tunings with it. You get the peace of mind of having. There's a reason to buy a new piano for sure. But if you're looking to save a buck and maybe stay in that $500 range, but this is the question that when you add up all those costs and you see how much a free piano costs and what it offers you, where could that $500 be better spent?
Maybe something with a warranty on it would be nice, because see, that money that you lay out to get a free piano, there's no one backing that but you.
And what are the chances that something else is wrong with it, like a pin block issue? So there's also the chance that the tuner came out there, tuned it, but there was an underlying issue that can't be fixed easily.
Yeah, like a split soundboard.
And that's a lot of the times why these pianos are free, is because they haven't been cared for. I know, going back to that, and so you risk the chance of spending $400, $350 to find out that your piano is not only stuck in your house now, and that you're gonna have to move it out, but it's also not functional.
Yeah, he just reminded me of a story I had with your grandfathers. We had a whole bunch of techs, and everyone went through this piano, and they're looking at it. It was about like a 40-year-old, probably Baldwin or something. And I was so stumped. I had Mr. Fly, hey, you've been around pianos your whole life. Look at this piano. He's looking at it, he goes, what do you think? I said, I think so. I think this thing dropped, like pushed off a truck or a loading ramp. He goes, you know what, you may be right. And that was after a whole week of looking through the piano. And then finally, when we got it back and we found the lady, and this was a donated piano.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that piano never was the same once it fell off the back end of that truck, because the damage was so inside.
It was
It's so
internal,
hard.
yeah.
It was internal, and you could just, and we couldn't get it tuned. The whole bass section wouldn't tune. But it had a good tone. It just, we couldn't get anything happen. It was like, what happened to this piano?
Yeah, no, and so it's interesting because you not only are spending this cash up front, but you risk everything basically. You're saying, I'm going to check all this, I'm going to spend all this money. Is it going to be worth it in the end, or am I going to have to go through this process one more time, two more times?
Right.
And so it's something to be wary of, but also where could that money be better spent? Not only with something with a warranty, but digital technology these days.
True. For less than $500,
You can get a
great. Yeah, I mean, we've done reviews on the portable.
Yeah, and even if you spend a little bit more than that, what are you getting? What are the offerings nowadays? What is the recording capability? Will you ever have to tune it? Are you gonna have to continuously spend money on tuning it, keeping it in tune? Is it something that after your kid or you decide that you want to get something better, it's going to have value still to put it in the back room? There's these longer questions. Okay, you got the free piano in your home set up. You spent money on it. How much is it worth to you in 5 years?
Well, here's the thing. Generally, what happens with those free pianos, and I'm a firm believer in this, I think they fit the bill, and I think they do what they're supposed to do. And think of how many pianos we've sold just in the last 3 years, where people have come in and said, my Craigslist piano's got to go. In other words, they got a free piano. It got them motivated to where they realized, I'm better than this piano, or I want to be better than this piano in terms of playability. They come into the store and think, can I get anything for it? You'll always get something for a trade-in.
And it's interesting because we get rid of those pianos for them too, and we have something called
move it.
Yeah, we move the piano out of there for you, and it goes to our graveyard, is what we call it. A lot of the time, these pianos will never pass a warranty check or pass a technician's billing, and so that's why we have these doom and gloom stories about Craigslist pianos, and it's not because we're trying to scare anyone, and why.
Well, we've had a lot of young parents come in and say, hey, look, this Craigslist piano, it was a godsend. It got us 18 months, and look at what it's done to our daughter. She's so motivated, she just wants to play real piano now. And so now they're there to get her a new piano. So there's a lot of good and bad, but you know that when there's something free, there's going to be a lesson learned besides money spent.
Yeah. And so that's our video. We wanted to kind of discuss kind of long-term thinking when it comes to getting that free piano, that weekend idea of let's get a free piano for our kid, or let's learn piano, let's bring one in. You might incur a lot more cost than you initially set out to. You might have something that's not worth anything, and you might have a big eyesore in your house as a reminder. But you have another thought on that?
The thought is, you compare pianos to guitars, and we started off talking about sofas and mattresses out on the porch or out on the street. The reason why there's always a free piano and people are always hesitant is, because of the liability, but of having to get rid of it if it's not very good. But number two is that if it were a guitar, and people put pianos out on the end of the street like they do Christmas trees and sofas and mattresses, they would be gone. The only reason why they're there is because they're heavy and it takes a couple people to move them. So it is worth investigating, and there's going to be something positive come out of it, even though it may cost you a lot of aggravation, time, and money spent. The positive thing, you'll learn something.
You'll learn something. When knowledge is,
And it's not
priceless.
just learning. It's what Jimmy always said, are you experienced? I'm experienced in free pianos.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed our video. If you have an interesting story about a free piano that you purchased, or a free piano that you brought into your house. Please let other people know if it was a good experience or a bad experience. I know there are some success stories out there. I've heard them. And then I've also heard some very fun stories that say, avoid this at all costs. But we wanted to bring you our interpretation of what we see with free pianos. It is sometimes very hard to find the right one. And there are some incurred costs that you don't anticipate up front. Ted Barslew, I'm Patrick Marr. You can find us online at alamomusic.com, where we have a chat agent available who can answer hopefully all of your questions. If not, you can always reach out to us and give us a call or come visit us in San Antonio. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and our other channels. Check out our other videos. Like our videos. Leave us comments. We really love to interact with you guys. Thanks for watching.